to your weekly music and entertainment fix.
Backstage with Sinéad and Mhórdha.
With all the best music, interviews, and live sessions.
On Radio Nova.
Yet to come on this evening's Backstage, Conor McCaffrey of The Star will be popping in to recommend some really cool gigs coming up over this weekend and next week. As well as that, Kula Shaker are going to be joining me live in the studio for a session and a chat. But first, it's time for new music here on Nova. Greg, what have you got for us?
Hi, Sinead. It turns out Radiohead are still going. Not only that, they're back with a new tune. Took everyone by surprise, this. On Tuesday, it started streaming. And a video that will, well, many a childhood memory, you might be a bit spooked. Radiohead released this on Tuesday with a kind of a Trumpton Camberwick Green video. Burn the Witch. See, it's kind of movie sounding. Of course it is. Burn the Witch will be released on 7-inch vinyl, according to an online listing. Pitchfork notes a listing on the website for the independent record store chain Bull Moose appears to show that Burn the Witch will be out as a single May 16th. Indie exclusive, which means independent record stores only. Apparently, the flip side will be Spectre, which they originally wrote for the Bond movie of the same name. Sam Smith's Writing on the Wall was later used, and Radiohead then released their own thing online at Christmas. So, Burn the Witch with that spooky video. New music this week here on Nova. It's a grower. What do you reckon, Sinead?
Yeah, grower, yeah, right. It's a bloody brilliant song.
All right, okay. That's new music for this week. Burn the Witch, Radiohead. I'm out of here.
You get out of here. Yeah, go on. Off you go, Greg. We've been at loggerheads with this track. I love it so much. Been dying to play it all week and I wanted to get in there first. So, Greg, I'll let you have that one. But I'm going to play the tune now in full from Radiohead. This is Burn the Witch on Radio Nova. Radiohead, Could I Possibly Love You Even More? What a tune from the band. Radiohead are back. Burn the Witch is the name of that new single. So wonderfully addictive. Those eerie strings just get me. I just love it more and more each time. They're of course playing Primavera Sound in Barcelona at the beginning of June, to which I'm going to. Did I mention? I probably have, maybe about 100 times. I'm very sorry. More news on Radiohead that they've actually just posted another video for another new song. It's called Daydreaming, and as the title suggests, it is wonderfully atmospheric and dreamy with a beautiful piano melody. It just feels like getting a great big hug. So look that one up online. You should be able to find the video. Another great video for that one. Radiohead Daydreaming. That was Burn the Witch, and the album is out tomorrow. Just one more sleep. You can get it as of 7 p.m. tomorrow. Okay, now it's time for my next guest.
Backstage on Radio Nova.
Okay, now it's time to go backstage with Kula Shaker. This band first came to prominence during the post-Britpop era of the late 1990s. They enjoyed quite a lot of commercial success between 96 and 98, notching up a number of top 10 hits on the UK singles chart, such as with tracks like Tatva, Hey Dude, Govinda and Hush. The band's debut album K reached number 1 on the UK albums chart. The band are back. They have a new album called K 2.0. They played the Academy in Dublin on Thursday. They're playing Dolan's in Limerick tonight. And joining me backstage now are Crispian and Paulie of the band Kula Shaker. You guys are going to now kick off with an acoustic version of your cover of Hush. So over to you.
Here we are. Shall I play it?
Do it.
Got a silly little girl, she's on my mind. No doubt about she looking so fine. She's the best girl that I ever had. Said that you're gonna make me feel so bad. Na 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 na. Oh 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 oh. Where's my Hammond organ? Na 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 na. Sing it. I'll say oh hush, hush. I thought I heard you calling my name. Now hush, hush. You broke my heart, but I love it just the same. Now hush, hush. But I thought I heard you calling my name. Now hush, hush. She my lover now she dream now. Early in the morning, late in the evening. Gotta believe me, hush. Take it, take it, take it, take it, take it. La 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 la. Silly girl, she's on my mind. No doubt about you looking so fine. She's the best girl that I ever had. Said that you're gonna make me feel so bad. Na 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 na. Good morning, good morning. La 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 la. Sing it. I'm singing a hush, hush. I thought I heard you calling my name. Now hush, hush. You took my love and now so dream. Now hush, hush. But I thought I heard you calling my name. Now early in the morning, late in the evening. That's right, now I'm a believer. Early in the morning, late in the evening. Night I
Yeah, nice. Percussion sounded really cool, actually. You did good with that.
That's the it's room service tray.
There
We've removed the halloumi wrap, and sounds like a pretty good snare bell.
You're robbing things from our hotels, are you?
Once I got into trouble in Japan because they had some giant sculptures of insects, and it was the drum tech's birthday. And we were in Japan in a hotel, and there was these
Come.
4-foot copper and aluminium sculptures of ants and beetles in as installation in the hotel.
Yeah.
And we were playing a gig just across the way, and it was my drum tech and our dear friend Simon. It was his birthday, and I thought, that's an amazing beetle. I'll just take it to the gig. to him to give it to him as a gift, and I'll bring it back later. I wasn't trying to steal it. So I took this 3-foot sculpture out of the hotel, took it across the way and said, "Here, Simon, here's a present for you." And he was understandably somewhat surprised that he'd got a 3-foot long metal Beatles sculpture as a present. I said, "Oh, thanks, Paulie. Yeah, right, well, I've just got to get on with setting up the gig." The next thing, the police weren't involved, were they? But the hotel did follow me.
Hotel security, yeah. This is the gig that ended up with you in jail.
No, not that one.
Bold boy.
Paul is here to represent rock and roll and keep it living.
Mischievous. Keith Moon and John Bonham that were mischievous to the point of probably a bit too mischievous. They were mischievous, and they ended up being probably rather expensive to their bandmates, or at least, but they're legendary. I'm not trying to be legendary. I'm just, drummers tend to get a bit antsy.
Why is that? Why is there that reputation of drummers?
Because there's a lot of energy involved, and sometimes a short attention span, and
and sometimes they forget what they're saying in the middle of a sentence.
Sometimes that
happens.
But you've got to have a childlike enthusiasm and wonder, and sometimes living the life of an executive businessman, which I'm afraid a lot of touring musicians do, because you're in hotels and airports and in relatively drab confines. You've got to liven things up, at least just for yourself or for your bandmates, just for those, And as long as I'm trying to do it conscientiously. I try not to be too much of a major pain in the bottom, but just sometimes it
robs the odd item. You've already robbed our bongos as well, I see.
Thank you for the loan of those.
No, you make good use of them. It's good to see them been used. So it's been about 15 years since you guys played Ireland. I can't believe that.
I know, it's shocking. It's so close. We have, to be fair, we haven't played, extensively anywhere. We've been making, we made a couple of records independently. 2 of them have been some of the best stuff we've done, but it's all been very, very quiet. And when we had a huge break of 7 or 8 years from when we kind of stopped working in 2000, and then we basically kind of started our careers again, and it's been really, we've been keeping it real. and it's not easy. We've been keeping it real, and Paul's been keeping it real.
He's definitely keeping it real, carrying the torch. 20 years since the release. Okay, I couldn't even believe that myself. I think it was a surprise for you guys as well, wasn't it? When someone brought that to your attention. 20 years.
It was a massive shock, yeah. I can't believe it is a huge passage of time, but we've had families. Recently, I became a dad in the last few years, and
congratulations.
It puts it all in perspective. And actually, I hadn't done a gig. I hadn't played live for 5 years, and when this anniversary came up, it was a perfect reason to make a record. And I thought my kids would get to see what I do for a living as well, Because, I also work in film, and I write scripts and stuff, and that's just me in a room, with looking at the wall. And they just think, well, Dad just sort of like stares into space for a living. So they came to a gig, and they got to see us do it. But the craziest thing is the band sounds the best it's ever sounded, which we were talking about it today, and I think it's quite rare that a band gets better, a rock band gets better.
It's hard because there's a lot of nostalgia that's kind of attached to bands and stuff. Now, Reef came back recently, and they played it. It went down really well and stuff. But Reef,
who? No, we go back
friends
with
of ours from back in the day.
That's because that was around the same time.
First bands that we toured with. And
they're from Glastonbury. Paul's from Glastonbury.
Oh right, okay.
We just have a bit of rivalry with them because they have such huge beards. And
they really do.
Amazing, massive beard. And Gary, the singer's beard, is just so obscene now.
It's taking over his face. It's pretty huge. Lovely guy.
But they're still really great. And I went and saw Soundgarden with my wife the year before last, and they're really amazing. They haven't diminished with time. I'm not even sure they were. I was not a huge fan of with Super Unknown. I liked it, and I kind of
get out of my
it.
studio.
But live, they're insane,
insanely live,
insane band. They're just a great band.
Your first album, Kate, it was such huge album, ridiculously successful, #1, and then it made the Q magazine list. Where was it? 100 greatest albums of all time. That was a couple of years after the release. And then fast forward a decade and a bit, it meant it landed in the 250 greatest albums of all time. So you're surprised, I guess, with this continued impression this album makes.
The songs on the radio, so much of it is about timing, and not just fashion, but, tastemakers and a whole bunch of influences have to come together for an album to get an opportunity to be heard. And actually, I think Britpop was really built on grunge. Actually, the American bands had made indie music, that with its roots in the Pixies and all of that. They kind of brought it into the mainstream, and everyone thought it was cool. And from that, that Nirvana album really is what came. That is what opened the doors for Britpop. For guitars and for bands, and the Beatles anthology, I think, kind of framed Britpop, because it was like the ancestry was kind of clear of where we were coming from, and the so I think we fitted in the sense that we were kind of 60s influenced, but we also felt like Britpop was a sort of, as Paul calls it, an accident of chronology. Everybody was just there at a certain time, but we never felt. We're much more aligned to ancient India, perhaps, and the late 60s.
Congratulations on version 2.0, version 2.0, K2.0.
Yeah.
Version 2.0 was garbage, actually, wasn't it? I think. So it's a bit of a follow-on then from the debut album, is it? Or why did you decide to go with this title?
2.0 was just our sort of play on the software update, really. I mean, we are the updated version of Kula Shaker. But also, it's, if you look at it, it looks like 20, so it made perfect sense for us.
Fair enough.
We're trying to explain it to our marketing people. It's K20.
It makes sense to me. Well, guys, thanks so much for popping in.
Pleasure.
And I hope you have a great time in Ireland. It's great to have you back after 15 years. Been too long. So congratulations and best of luck with everything.
Thanks, Sinead.
Thank you
so much.
Backstage.
Entertainment update.
And now we have gotten to that point of the show. Time for the gig guide with Conor McCaffrey of The Star. Hello, how's it going?
What is the crack?
What is the crack? The crack is mighty.
And thanks a lot for playing another power ballad for me on Thursday night.
No problem. To Pout, Shine in Your Hand. I mean, what a classic one. I've not heard that for years and years.
Then again, I did have to bring down the actual 7-inch to the studio of Whitesnake to get to play the first one. So
Oh, you didn't have to.
I think I do deserve one or two for the next few
I thought
weeks.
that was my birthday present. Oh, come here. We've got some exciting news. Well, news that we knew about, but there's a couple of developments in terms of ELO.
Yeah, Jeff Lynne's ELO. It's a pretty lucky one here because he cancelled last week at the very, very last minute. But they fit him in this Saturday as well. So, but it's crazy. This is the first ELO arena tour in 30 years, and he had to, even his last tour in 2001, he had to cancel it because no one bought tickets.
What?
But, yeah, he cancelled it in 2001. Just no one was interested at all.
Wow.
It's getting really, really good reviews. He's got like 13, 14 people on stage, incredible session musicians.
Oh yeah,
Should be
I
a good
saw
one.
them, by the way. Did I mention that?
Oh yes.
Yeah, in London. I got flown
there.
over, by MCD. It was rather amazing. It was really special, tiny little intimate venue. So I can vouch that the sound is just phenomenal, and you will stand there with the biggest smile on your face.
Yeah, what's some good news if you didn't get a ticket the last time? It sold out really quickly, but there's been a rush of tickets this week, just basically people refunding because they can't go. Aww. So other people's misfortune is your gain, I suppose.
Yeah, there are other ELO fans trying to get their hands on those tickets. So I know it's an early doors as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's 6:30.
Yeah, 6:30. And then opening act, Laura Marling. That's going to be really special, so make sure you get it nice and early. Okay, moving on now to a beloved Irish band.
Yes, everybody's got a big soft spot for the Frank and Walters, who are playing in Whelan's tonight after playing a massive big home show at the Cork Opera House last month. Older listeners, i.e. me, possibly you, will remember them.
You can take your Whitesnake bloody vinyl back with you. Go on.
Well, remember them gate crashing the top of the pops in the 1990s with After All.
The what?
But,
Sorry?
but they're still releasing some of the country's best left field indie music. This is a launch gig for the new album Songs for the Walking Wounded, which even features a really good, brilliant monologue from really big Franks fan, Cillian Murphy.
Mr. Cillian Murphy. Yeah, he popped in on Backstage recently. Very cool guy. Yes.
Name dropping all over here tonight.
I know. Hello. I'm moving on to another old pal of mine.
Oh, Brian Adams, yeah, he's taking his classic rock and roll to the 3 Arena on Tuesday night. I've still got scars from everything I do being a number one for what seemed like half my teenage years whenever I was a wee grunger. But in fairness, he does have some pure radio rock classics, and who hasn't done air guitar to Summer of 69 at some silly wedding? Mm-hmm. He's got a new album out called Get Up, but everybody will be screaming for the classics. Run to You, Cuts Like a Knife, 18 Till I Die. The list goes on.
This goes on and on.
Yeah.
And Nova listeners adore Mr. Brian Adams. Amazing. Some really big gigs there. Conor McCaffrey of the Star, thanks very much.
Okay, have a
great weekend and take your vinyl on the way out.
Okay, bye-bye.
Next Saturday on Backstage.
I'll have more chats and music from the artists you love, plus music news and the gig guide. Speaking of gigs, if you're heading to Jeff Lynne's ELO tonight at Dublin's 3 Arena, have a ball. And when Jeff Lynne and the band walk off stage, we don't have to worry about the ELO fun stopping there, as we are going to have an hour of ELO for you from 11 p.m. So tune into Nova to keep those ELO vibes going. Peter Devlin is taking over in a moment with the Saturday soundtrack on this evening's show. He's got great tunes on the way. He's got music from The Clash and The National and some great Irish picks, including tunes from The Academic and The Hot Sprockets. I'll chat to you on Monday evening at 7. Have a great weekend. Time now for the Nova News at 7.